3 vehicles, $180,000 a year. 7 vehicles, $420,000. 12 vehicles, $720,000. On paper, the math looks perfect. Add more vans, unlock proportional revenue, and eventually cross into 7 figures. That's the story most NEMT operators tell themselves. But reality doesn't play by spreadsheet rules, because the average NEMT business earns about $500,000 annually, and most never break past that ceiling. Not because they don't have enough vehicles, but because they're lacking the systems that transform fleets from cost centers into profit multipliers. The difference between a 6-figure plateau and a 7-figure operation isn't more vehicles. It's knowing exactly when to scale, which systems prevent operational chaos, and how to extract maximum revenue from every asset you already own before buying the next one. By the end of this video, you'll know the 10 non-negotiable rules that separate NEMT businesses, grinding at $500,000 from operators systematically building towards 7 figures and beyond. These aren't growth hacks. They're the operational foundations that growth-focused companies use to exceed 7 figures while their competitors stay stuck. So let's break down the exact blueprint. Rule number 1, never increase scale before you hit 70% utilization. From the very beginning, most operators make the same mistake. They buy a 4th vehicle before fully utilizing the first 3. Those vehicles are already sitting idle nearly 40% of the day, unused capacity that's burning insurance, depreciation, and overhead. This isn't opinion. Vehicle utilization rates can reach 80% with proper tracking and optimization. But the medical transportation industry averages a startling 0.35 unit-hour utilization, which means for every 10-hour shift, only 3.5 hours are spent actually transporting patients. That's 65% wasted capacity bleeding money daily. So before you add fleet capacity, calculate your current utilization. Take your total billable hours across all vehicles and divide by total available vehicle hours. If you're below 70% utilization, adding another vehicle just multiplies your inefficiency. You'll have 4 underutilized assets instead of 3. The operators who scale successfully focus on maximizing existing capacity first. They optimize routes to chain trips geographically. They reduce deadhead miles between pickups. They fill gaps with facility contracts during off-peak hours. Actually, AI-powered dispatch software can boost utilization to 60 to 80%, adding $5,000 to $10,000 annually per vehicle. That's $15,000 to $30,000 in additional revenue from your existing 3-vehicle fleet without buying a single new van. Rule number 2. Implement AI dispatch before your 5th vehicle. Manual dispatch works when you're running 2 or 3 vehicles, barely. But the moment you hit 5 vehicles with multiple drivers covering overlapping territories, manual coordination becomes the bottleneck strangling your growth. The technology difference is dramatic here. So, operators using dedicated NEMT dispatch software increase monthly revenue per vehicle by 26% to 51%, from approximately $3,300 monthly to $4,160 to $5,000. That's $860 to $1,700 additional monthly revenue per vehicle. But you know what? This smart information holds more things. AI dispatch doesn't just increase revenue, it transforms your operational capacity. AI can optimize routes and schedules to help providers handle 25% more trips with the same fleet size. So instead of buying vehicle 6 to increase capacity, you implement AI dispatch, and suddenly your 5-vehicle fleet is performing like a 6 or 7 vehicle operation. The platforms that actually deliver results are Route Genie, Bambi, and TripMaster. They optimize routing to reduce travel time by 15% to 20%. They chain trips geographically to minimize dead miles. They automate patient reminders, reducing no-shows by 25% to 30%. And they generate documentation that cuts claim denial rates. Rule number 3. Diversify revenue streams before expanding fleet size. Medicaid contracts provide stable volume, but Medicaid-only operators hit revenue ceilings fast. A single NEMT van generates $120,000 to $250,000 annually, depending on mileage rates and trip volume, with wheelchair vans earning more than ambulatory sedans. The problem is, Medicaid reimbursement rates are non-negotiable and often insufficient for premium margins. Louisiana pays $16 base plus $1.50 to $2.25 per mile. Arizona pays 56 cents per mile for ambulatory transport. That's your ceiling unless you diversify. The operators scaling to 7 figures don't rely on Medicaid alone. They target private pay clients who pay $50 to $150 per trip. They secure facility contracts with dialysis centers, which represented 29.42% of the NEMT market. and require 3 weekly trips per patient. They partner with rehabilitation clinics, offering twice-weekly appointments for 6 to 12 weeks per patient. So the math becomes clear. 3 Medicaid trips at $35 each generate $105. 1 private pay facility contract trip at $90 generates nearly the same revenue. Build a client base where 40% of your trips are private pay premium contracts, and suddenly, your revenue per vehicle jumps 30% to 50% without adding a single additional trip. Before we continue, scaling to 7 figures requires staying ahead of industry changes, broker policy shifts, new technology platforms, facility partnership opportunities. If you're not tracking these updates, you're leaving money on the table. Join the NEMT Intel list for weekly intelligence that actually moves your business forward. Link is in the description. Rule number 4, hire an operations manager at Vehicle 7. Most operators try to personally manage dispatch, driver coordination, broker relationships, facility contracts, billing, and compliance until they're running 10 vehicles. That's when operational chaos destroys growth momentum. The inflection point is Vehicle 7. That's when you transition from owner-operator to business manager. And the role that unlocks this transition is a dedicated operations manager who handles day-to-day dispatch, driver scheduling, vehicle maintenance coordination, and real-time problem solving. This person costs $45,000 to $65,000 annually depending on your market. And yes, that feels expensive when you're clearing $420,000 with 7 vehicles. But without this role, you're the bottleneck. You're handling driver no-shows at 6 a.m. You're coordinating broker issues at 2 p.m. You're reviewing billing submissions at 9 p.m. You can't focus on broker relationship building, facility contract negotiations, or strategic growth planning because you're trapped in daily operations. The operators who scale hire this role and immediately redirect their time toward revenue-generating activities. They're visiting dialysis centers, they're meeting healthcare facility directors, they're negotiating better rates with private pay clients. That's why they can go from 7 vehicles to 12 vehicles within 18 months while maintaining quality. Rule number 5, standardize driver retention systems to stop the turnover bleed. Driver turnover in NEMT exceeds 64% annually. Every driver who quits costs you $3,000 to $5,000 in recruiting, training, and certification. With a 10-vehicle fleet requiring 12 to 15 drivers, 64% turnover means you're losing 8 to 10 drivers annually. That's $24,000 to $50,000 burned on turnover alone. Actually, the damage extends beyond direct costs. New drivers lack route familiarity, which increases trip times and reduces daily capacity. They make documentation errors that cause billing rejections. They generate customer complaints that damage broker relationships. So high turnover doesn't just cost money, it actively prevents scaling. The solution is building retention systems before you scale. Offer consistent schedules instead of erratic on-call shifts. Create performance bonuses tied to 0 complaints and 95% plus on-time ratings. This costs you $50 to $100 monthly per driver, but saves $4,000 in replacement costs. Provide clear advancement paths where experienced drivers can move into dispatch or training roles. And treat drivers with basic professional respect, which apparently remains rare in this industry. Rule number 6, maintain 90 days operating capital at all times. Cash flow kills more scaling NEMT businesses than competition ever will. You're expanding from 5 to 8 vehicles. Your monthly operating expenses jump from $18,000 to $28,000. Your insurance premiums increase. Your driver payroll doubles. And you're still waiting 60 to 90 days for Medicaid reimbursements on trips completed months ago. The operators who successfully scale maintain 90 days of operating capital in liquid reserves at all times. For an 8-vehicle operation with $28,000 monthly expenses, that's $84,000 sitting in your business account. Yes, that's capital that could buy 2 more vehicles, but without it, the first unexpected expense, major vehicle breakdown, insurance premium increase, delayed broker payment, creates a crisis that stops your growth momentum entirely. This reserve isn't just emergency protection, it's strategic flexibility. When a competitor goes out of business and their facility contracts become available, you can onboard those clients immediately because you have the capital to cover the 60-day payment delay. When a broker offers you a high-volume territory expansion but needs proof of capacity, you can add vehicles and drivers because you're not operating paycheck to paycheck. Rule number 7, target facility contracts over broker dependency. Brokers provide volume, but broker-dependent operators are building businesses they don't control. Brokers change reimbursement rates, they alter territory assignments, they modify performance requirements, and you adjust or lose the contract. The 7-figure operators flip this dynamic by targeting direct facility contracts that provide predictable revenue, premium rates, and relationship stability. Dialysis centers alone require 3 weekly trips per patient and represented 29.42% of the NEMT market. One facility contract with 15 dialysis patients generates 45 weekly trips, 180 trips monthly, worth $16,200 at $90 per trip. The strategy is direct relationship building. You identify high-value facilities in your service area, dialysis centers, rehabilitation clinics, nursing homes, cancer treatment centers. You schedule in-person meetings with their transportation coordinators. You demonstrate reliability with on-time performance guarantees and backup vehicle commitments. And you offer premium service that justifies premium rates. Actually, facility contracts solve multiple problems simultaneously. They provide revenue predictability for cash flow planning. They generate consistent volume that fills schedule gaps between broker trips. And they insulate you from broker policy changes that tank Medicaid-dependent operators overnight. Rule number 8, implement real-time performance tracking at scale. You can't optimize what you don't measure, and manual tracking becomes impossible past 5 vehicles. The operators scaling to 7 figures implement real-time performance dashboards, tracking vehicle utilization rates, on-time performance percentages, revenue per vehicle per day, claim denial rates, and driver complaint ratios. Businesses that regularly monitor performance see revenue increases of up to 76%. That's not correlation, that's causation. When you can identify that vehicle 3 is generating 30% less revenue than vehicle 5, you investigate. Maybe vehicle 3 has an underperforming driver. Maybe its territory has lower trip density. Maybe its maintenance frequency is excessive. Without tracking, you never know. With tracking, you fix the problem and increase fleet-wide revenue. The platforms that deliver actionable insights are Route Genie, Toby Cloud, and ISI Technology. They provide real-time dashboards, automated reporting, and predictive analytics that identify problems before they become crises. This costs $800 to $1,500 monthly for comprehensive systems, but the operational improvements return that investment within 30 days. Rule number 9. Plan your path to vehicle 15 before buying vehicle 8. Random growth kills businesses. Strategic growth builds 7-figure operations. The difference is having a documented scaling model that shows exactly when you'll add vehicles, how you'll fund expansion, and what revenue thresholds trigger each phase. The scaling sequence that works is months 1 through 6, with 1 to 3 vehicles proving operational viability. Months 7 through 12 adding vehicles 4 through 5 while hiring your first dedicated dispatcher. Year 2, targeting 7 to 10 vehicles, hiring an operations manager, and implementing comprehensive software. Year 3, pushing toward 12 to 15 vehicles with dedicated facility contract teams and multi-territory coverage. But the critical element is defining your trigger points. You don't add vehicle 8 because you feel ready. You add vehicle 8 when vehicle 7 maintains 75% plus utilization for 90 consecutive days, when your cash reserves exceed 120 days of operating expenses, and when you've secured facility contracts generating 40% of total revenue. These objective criteria prevent emotional scaling that outpaces operational capacity. Rule number 10, acquire competitors to accelerate market consolidation. Building from 5 vehicles to 20 vehicles organically takes 3 to 5 years. Acquiring a competitor with 8 vehicles and established broker contracts compresses that timeline to 18 months. The 7-figure operators understand this math. The NEMT industry remains highly fragmented. The majority of providers are small organizations averaging 7 to 8 vehicles servicing local contracts. Many are owner-operated businesses, where the owner wants to retire but has no succession plan. These are acquisition opportunities for operators with capital and systems. The strategy is identifying competitors with solid reputations, but weak operational systems. They have loyal facility contracts, but manual dispatch. They have experienced drivers, but no retention programs. They have decent revenue, but poor margins. You acquire them, integrate their contracts into your system, optimize their operations with your technology, and immediately increase their profitability while adding their vehicle capacity to your fleet. An 8-vehicle acquisition might cost $200,000 to $300,000, but it delivers immediate facility relationships, trained drivers, established broker contracts, and vehicle capacity that would take 2 years to build organically. That's why operators targeting 7 figures view acquisitions as growth acceleration, not optional expansion. Look, the average NEMT business earns about $500,000 annually. Most stay there forever, but the operators building 7-figure businesses aren't working harder. They're implementing systems that multiply revenue per vehicle, reduce operational chaos, and create predictable growth trajectories. If you found this valuable, subscribe to NEMT. We're building the only media company focused exclusively on NEMT operators who want to scale intelligently.